Once your video is in the hands of your audience, it's important to monitor its performance. You want people to be engaging with your lesson. If they aren't, it may be time to make a few changes.
By the end of this video, you'll know how to review your lesson, monitor engagement, and optimize your content.
There are a number of ways to measure audience engagement, but your most important tools are your multiple choice and open response questions. First, are people completing these? Are they answering accurately? And are their written responses thoughtful and reflective? If not, it may be time to consider changes to your interactions or to your lesson.
Here are some examples of lessons people created in our office. In this first example, Raman introduces her topic in the first 30 seconds and then adds a multiple choice question. After the quiz, she explains the first concept, how to warm up before presenting on camera. After fully explaining this, she adds in an open response question. What 4 things should you do before recording your next video? You can see that engagement peaked on these 2 interactions, and most people watched her entire video. Adding a multiple choice question at the beginning allows your learners to participate in the lesson. This switches them from passive to active learners. Additionally, questions added early improve comprehension by changing the way your audience interacts with your video. This quiz not only increases engagement, it also helps learners retain more information. Open response questions encourage continued participation and give people time to reflect.
Now, in this next version, Derek overlays a diagram identifying the different parts of the cloud infrastructure as he talks about them. He also adds a text note after he finishes his explanation. This outlines the most important parts he's covered. You can see that engagement actually increases when the diagram comes up. His audience is visually engaged, and they're taking note of what he's displaying. By adding these visual cues, Derek showed his audience when they needed to pay attention, and added a second layer of information to increase comprehension.
In this next example, Emily is explaining the new office floor plan. At the 60-second mark, she shows a static image of the floor plan for an entire minute as she talks about it. After 30 seconds of looking at the same visual, engagement plummets. In her updated version, she creates a video walkthrough of the different spaces with her smartphone. She shows the kitchen first, moves to the desks, and ends on the meeting rooms. She also adds an open response question at the end of her explanation of the floor plan. She asks people to provide feedback on the new additions. Engagement peaks, and people continue to watch the entire video. Adding the open response question increases engagement and gives Emily's audience the chance to provide feedback and feel valued.
In this last example, Raman decides to add 8 interactions to her 4-minute video. It's a technical screencast demonstration, so she wants to make sure people fully understand. After she gets 15 seconds into her 40-second intro, she adds a multiple choice question. She then starts to explain the video editing process and cuts to a text note halfway through her demonstration. She almost finishes explaining the editing process before adding an open response question. She continues breaking up concepts with questions and text notes throughout the entire video. As you can see, engagement for this lesson is quite low. 20% of people drop off after the first question, and over 50% drop off by the time they reach her open response question. This trend continues throughout the entire lesson. It's important to note that too many interactions is distracting and can cause your learners to disengage.
To sum up, review your multiple choice and open response questions to see if your learners are answering them thoughtfully.
When reviewing your video, make sure you've varied your images throughout and used interactive elements sparingly. In this video, we talked about optimizing your lesson. Over the previous 6 videos, we explained how to create engaging content. First, pick a large topic and break it up into a series of micro lessons. Next, plan each lesson using the BOPS model. Create a storyboard with interactions and use the Workday content authoring tool to actually build your lesson. Lastly, monitor its engagement.
If there's one thing to take away from this course, it's that the interactions and visuals you include don't increase engagement. It's how you use them that makes all the difference. So think about how you can use these elements to optimize your lessons.
We hope this series has inspired you to create engaging, interactive content that encourages active learning. Now, it's time to share what you know.